lucky to have Vince Wilfork with us. Round of applause for Vince. So we have a few rookies here today. I know a lot of you have been here before for a speaker series. So Kurt Evans, our curator, is going to introduce Vince. He's going to start the session off with a few questions, and then we're going to open it all to you for lots of questions. At the end, we have Eric and Mike. They're the gentlemen that you met downstairs, and they have some signed posters from Vince. They're beautiful posters this year. It was a request that a couple of people put out, and we were able to get it done for you, so make sure you do not leave without your autographed poster, okay? So have fun, and thanks again.
Hello?
Sorry, you gotta turn Kurt on.
Hello? Hello?
No?
Still not doing? No.
There you go.
There it is. Yep, thank you. As Cindy said, I'm Kurt Evans. I'm the curator here. For a few years it's been. I thought I'd give you a little background on Vince. He was born in Florida. He attended high school in Florida. He also went to the University of Miami for 3 years. And he was drafted in the first round by the Patriots in 2004. He was the 21st pick overall. He spent 11 years. He spent 11 great years with the Patriots. He was a 5-time Pro Bowl selection. And a 2-time world champion with the Patriots. He also he's our 32nd inductee into our Hall of Fame, and he's the 6th player to be inducted on the first year of his eligibility. So with that, I'll introduce Vince. Vince. I have some questions for Vince that I'll ask him before we open it up to the floor. Okay, when did you start playing football?
My first time I played football, I was 4 going on 5. No, seriously. And I really wasn't that big of a guy, but I was big for my size, but I was still slim. And that was the first time I played, and the next time I played after that was in high school because I was either too big or too small. So I had to skip all those years and wait till I got to high school to play football. So in between that time, what I did was I was a great basketball player. I became really good in basketball, and going to high school, my high school basketball coach, he would come see me play basketball in the AAUs and around the neighborhood and just traveling different places. And he followed me since, I was 6, 7, all the way up until it was time for me to go to high school. So when I got to high school, it was like the basketball coach and the head football coach, they set me down just like this. And it was like, you can't play both. Which one you gonna play? I said, oh, that's easy, I'm playing football. So the basketball coach looked at me kind of crazy. He was like, you playing football? For all these years, you've been playing basketball and you haven't played football since you was yay high. You going to football? I was like, yeah.
I've seen him play basketball. He's fantastic.
So from that day on, I think my head football coach and the basketball coach, they never got along. that was my fault.
What is your favorite Patriots memory?
Oh my gosh. I've had such a great career. I had great teammates, great coaches, great fans. My greatest moment was being a Patriot. I can't, I know I can easily sit and just call out plays, but I think the biggest of all of that is being a member of the New England Patriots, just day in and day out. My teammates, we have each other back and just coming together as one, and to do what we've done for 2 decades. Those are the best moments that I'll live with for the rest of my life.
Oh, that's great. If your career wasn't in football, what else do you think you would have done?
Well, I'd be a stripper. Come the baby in. No, if I wouldn't play football, I probably would have been a track and field shot putter. So I actually hold the state record for Florida in shot putting with 68 feet. And the reason I got into that was by mistake. What happened was my freshman year in high school, the last game of the season, I got in a fight on the field. So they say, okay, either he can skip, he have to miss the start of the season 2 games, or he can just go to another sport and just miss some time there. So my coach was like, oh, man, just go to track. They have 5 track meets in a week, so just go there and just sit out a week. So I did that, and I had a couple football players that threw the shot put in discus. So I just went out there just screwing around, and I was kicking the shot put, and I was just being like a little brat, like a kid, like I didn't want to be out there. So I saw the guy throw it. I said, oh, I can do that. So I picked it up and I threw it, and the coach was like, do that again. So I picked it up, I threw it. He was like, do it one more time. So I picked it up and I done it again. I'm like, why do you want me to keep doing this? So he was like, if you join the track team, I can make you a state champ. And I was like, whatever. I'm a football player. He said, no, seriously. So he started telling me about these great throwers, and one of them he told me was Michael Carter, was a football player in the NFL, and he was from Texas. So I said, okay, I'll do it. And sure enough, I broke the record.
I think you held it till 2013 or so?
No, I think I still have it. Somebody lied and said they got it, but I think I still have it. But I broke that record my senior year I probably 5 meets in, so I broke that record. And that year, when I went to state, I had the flu, and my coach told me, he said, don't go out there warming up and throwing so much. You're tired, you're sick. And I'm like, whatever, I'm the big dog. I went out there and I had all the media, they taking pictures, and I'm at, Florida Gator Stadium, and they had a nice pit. So I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna put on the show, And I threw like 5 or 6 times, and the pit was 70 feet, okay? And then after, it was all gravel, and then it was grass. So all of my throws was in the grass. So now it's talk like he finna break his record. He finna throw over 70 feet. And sure enough, I got so tired. I ended up throwing 62 that day. So I threw one time that day, and I actually scratched the rest of my throws, because once I saw anybody couldn't beat me, I was just too tired. So I didn't get a shot to break the record there.
No, that's great. I knew you had it.
Yeah.
So, okay, I think at that point we're going to open it up for questions from all of you folks. So, Cindy,
don't be shy. I'm okay.
Okay. Anybody? Let me go to the closest person first. Hello.
Hi, it's an honor to talk to you tonight.
Thank you.
One of the hits I remember most is your hit on, I think it was Donald Johnson. Just Charlie Browned him completely. What was one of the hits that you remember the most, that kind of you got up and were just fired up over?
Well, being a defensive lineman, especially a nose tackle, it's a lot of tackles I had down there that probably meant a lot to me, but you guys probably couldn't see. You know, I remember a play against Green Bay when I got up and I flexed, but you know nobody really remembered that play. You know, so I mean, one of my biggest plays that I loved was we were in London and we was playing. Is it the Lions? We were playing, I think, the Lions or somebody over there. And Rams, right? And it was a toss play or an outside zone stretch play, and I had to run. Like I had to act like I was a sprinter. And what I loved about it is I actually caught the running back, and it's a picture of me. It's hard to find. I'm airborne and I'm flat. Just like, no, seriously, I'm just like this. You would think I was about 100 pounds because my stomach wasn't poking out or anything like that. But that play, I love that play just because of what it took for me to get to him. And I'm chasing the running back to the sideline, and just that photo, it speaks volumes. But if you seen that photo, you'll probably be like, oh, okay. But to me, I'm like, man, that was an awesome play. You know? So, but you know, I don't know. You know, I have to sit and look at film because there's so many plays happen over my career, and you know, just a couple that pop out like the Jones, like that was a big play. I mean, that messed him up for the rest of his career. And like I said, the Green Bay play, I got up and I flexed because I hit him pretty good. But I'm a nose tackle, so I'm always the last one getting off the ground, and nobody really cares. They call in the next play when I'm getting up. So, but yeah, I would say that though.
We have another question over here.
So great to meet you.
Thank you.
What I wanted for my 50th birthday, which was 3 years ago, was to meet you. I wanted to have a dance with you because the time that I fell in love with you. And Seymour was supposed to tell you this. I just saw him in Canton in August. Was you're in the end zone, you catch the football. You're like, oh, I got the football. Do you remember that?
I'm sorry. I don't know. You have to understand. It's like
Oh my God.
I think I do. But I'm not a liar. I don't. But you know what? The problem is when I played, it's a lot of things I did when I played, and I can't remember because as an athlete and as a football player, we have a time clock. Like we don't have time to sit back and think of everything we've just done. The next play is here. If it's good or bad, and you just crunch that up over 20 years worth of football, it's like some stuff get lost. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And I'm pretty sure it did happen. Like, I tell you this. Have anyone seen the clip of me? It was a fumble, and I forget. And I was dancing. No, honestly, I was dancing. Did you? So
2011.
Oh my gosh. See that? See? I thought I would be the only one to remember that. Oh, that's who it was against? Okay, never mind. Next question.
And you hung on to that ball and you ran to the sidelines and gave it to your wife.
Yes, I did it. Yep.
Sanchez says hello too.
I doubt that.
Amazing wife. When you had, not that it happened often, a bad play, who were you more scared of, her or the coach?
Well, then, so I was.
Well, we can take another question.
Yeah.
Hey Vince, congratulations on the induction.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the Pro Football Hall of Fame possibilities.
Thank you.
My favorite hit of yours was the Donald Jones hit. You lit him up like a Christmas tree.
Yes.
And it was great to see. My question to you is, when you see your name on the Pro Football Hall of Fame ballot, what goes through your head do you think you deserve it? You know what I mean? Like, do you sit there and go, oh yeah, I belong in that?
That's a great question
Because
I'm
New
a-
England fans are very biased to their players.
Yeah, I'm very honest. And when you talk about a Pro Football Hall of Fame, you talk about the best of the best, and it's criteria, right? For a nose tackle, it's very, 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 very hard to enter, just because we're nose tackles. I think it would be very hard for me to get in, honestly. And if I do get in, I think it'll take some time, just because the position nose tackle. Now, if they had a criteria for nose tackle in the Hall of Fame, I'd be first ballot. It's just honesty. But I have to fight, a nose tackle have to fight with a defensive tackle. Defensive tackle, 3 techniques, sacks, tackle for loss, this, that, and other. Nose tackle grinding. So it's not a criteria just for a nose tackle. He's in with defensive tackles, which makes it a lot harder to get in. But it's all about how they view it. You know, if you say I changed the game, I should get a nod, right? So,
Well, we here in New England think you deserve it.
well, I tell you what, I think I changed the game as well, because like I tell anybody I speak with, there's no other nose tackle that ever played the game that can play from nose to defensive end on both sides. So I played every position, from a 5 technique, 4 technique, 3. I played along the line of scrimmage. So you just
in the coverage.
there you go. So if I had my own nod, put me in now. Thank you.
Hi, Vince.
Hello.
I would just like to say, first off, on behalf of all of the women and maybe some of the men in the room, you look fantastic.
Thank you.
I've been waiting a long time for the answer to this question. When you showed up at the Texans facility in those overalls, did you have anything on under them?
No. That's the best question ever.
Vince, other than being on the field of football all your life, have you had any stories or any memories of other places like the locker room?
Let me tell you something. My man Murph, that guy right there, I swear. And I have another one, Lenny. You know, one thing I love about me coming back is guys like this. You know, a lot of people don't recognize and give them the credit. You know, Lenny, since I was a rookie, my x-rays, my MRIs, I got a chance to get to know him over the years. One of the sweetest guys that you could ever meet. And that's why I love for him being here today, because I personally invited him for my ceremony because of that. My dude, Murph, who just answered this, just asked the question, the times we've had, how many times we had push-up competitions? A lot, right? And we talk about a guy that's been around me since I was a rookie. And I've got a chance to grow and have fun in the locker room with this guy, because, you know, I never made these guys feel anything less than a patriot. They are patriots, just like I suit up. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have got the job done, what I needed to do, if I got MRIs, whatever. My locker, I was very respectful, but guess what? This guy would be in the locker room cleaning up every single day and making sure it's nice and clean. But I've always made sure I took moments, and if I didn't tell you guys enough, I love you and I appreciate everything you ever done for me in that locker room, at this stadium, because you are more than just people to me, you are family. So I appreciate
Hi, Vince.
it. Hello.
I was listening this morning to Zolak and Bertrand, your interview they had there, and I understand that you make some pretty good barbecue.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just wondering if there is any place that we can try your barbecue, or if you're thinking about maybe opening something close by, just wondering.
Now you're talking. The crazy thing is I've always wanted to open up a barbecue restaurant here in Boston. And, you know, up until this point, I haven't had an opportunity just because of life in general, just in the work that it takes to run it. You know, but I tell you this, I think I'm back in Boston, and I think I'm gonna be here for a good while, so you might be seeing.
Hi, Vince. So I have a little two-parters. First part, with this new look, we're gonna get a body issue part 2.
Oh, no. Hey, they say I'm too small now, so I can't.
And number 2, for all the Patriots players that I've ever talked to, they always have funny stories about Bill. Any funny stories you have about Coach Belichick?
Well, I have a speech I have to give Saturday, so that is one I have to save for that. But I would tell you this. I'm gonna give you this one, okay? When I was a rookie, you know, went to mini camps and all that good stuff, and you know, we warmed up, we did, you know, things were ran a certain type of way. I get to training camp, first day of training camp. He had the rookies do rookie skits and jokes, right? In my rookie class, we was the worst of the worst. I mean, we were stubborn, we was insubordinate, we were rebellious, we didn't care if you wanted to laugh. You're not gonna laugh off of us, right? So we really just took it for a joke. So the next day at practice, we go to warm up, and normally we'll run across the field 4 times and we going on a jog. So that day, we ran across, we ran back, we ran again, ran back. And he said, everybody stop except for rookies. You know, me a rookie, I'm like, okay, well, maybe he wants us to warm up a little bit more. So he ran us about 6 more times, and I never caught on. Until the 6th time I came back, he saw that I was pissed off and frustrated. And he was standing with a smirk and twisting, you know, his whistle. And he was smiling, and I was right next to him. And I was cursing, I was just going crazy. Like, man, what? So he looked at me and said, you ready to practice now? I looked at him and said, you effing right, I've been ready to practice. So come to find out, he ran us because our jokes was so bad, and he only ran the rookies. So I said, I'll tell you what, you can ask Bill today. From that day forward, every joke we told, it was classics. So we learned our lesson.
Hey Vince, first I want to say thanks for all the memories. Some of my favorite memories, other than the games obviously, going to camp and watching you field punts.
Oh yeah.
Those were great. I just wanted to take a second to ask you, can you talk a little bit about your pre-draft process, maybe some teams you met with, where you thought you might end up going, if you felt snubbed at 21, or what you felt like when you ended up here with the Pats?
Well, my pre-draft first, I thought I would never be the last Hurricane picked in the first round. There's 6 of us, and I know I was better than the majority of them. So it is what it is. I went to Chicago, Minnesota, and Buffalo. Atlanta had 8. Atlanta had 8. Houston, Texas had 10. Chicago had either 13 or 14. I forget Minnesota had, but all of them was top 20. So Atlanta talked to me every day. I thought I was going to Atlanta. I mean, even the family I had in Atlanta, they told me, like, you're going to be a Falcon. And I was believing. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm being a Falcon. Number 8, I'm going, I'm on the board, right? So the Texans, they had 10. They sat down with all the Hurricanes and basically told my agent, like, hey, if he's there at 10, we take it. So I'm like, oh man, I'm good now. So now, Chicago, I go visit Lovey. Lovey tell him, me and Lovey, we talked for 2 hours, and it wasn't even about football, it was just about life, faith, and family, right? So we talked good. So Buffalo and everybody, I really didn't care about that back then. I'm like, okay, these guys are going. So Atlanta comes, Atlanta comes up at number 8. They pick a cornerback. Scratch that off the list, Vince. You're not going to Atlanta. Houston comes, they pick a cornerback. Scratch that off the list, Vince. You're not going to Houston. Chicago comes, they had 13 or 14, I can't remember. Pick Tommy Harris, first defensive tackle picker. So I'm like, what the? Scratch that off, Vince. Now, mind you, while I'm scratching everything off, 3 Hurricanes is gone. Okay, 3 of us. Next thing you know, within 5 picks, 5 of us is going, and I'm not one of them. So now, I'm pissed off. I'm like, what the hell? I don't even know anything else about. I don't know anything, but I didn't meet with them. I didn't talk to them. So here comes New England, boom, picking me 21st. I didn't even care. Like, whatever. Why did I get picked the last out of the Hurricanes? So I was so mad that I was the last one picked. I wouldn't even think about being in the first round and all of that. I was mad because I was the last Hurricane pick, because being a Hurricane, we very competitive. So we have jokes and we have bets amongst each other. So I had to pay it there. So here we go. So I remember that my defensive coordinator at the time, Randy Shannon, he called me. He said, Vince, I know you're upset, but you're gonna be the first one to win the Super Bowl. And I was like, whatever, I ain't trying. I'm still pissed off. I'm a 6 Hurricane pick. Mind you, we set a record with 6 in the first round. I didn't care. I'm the last one pick. And sure enough, my first year, we won the Super Bowl. So, it was a blessing in disguise for me.
You would have been 28-3 if you were the other guy.
Right? I want that.
Hey Vince, how you doing? Just want to say congratulations on all the honors this weekend.
Thank you.
My biggest question is, I know it's a huge time for you this weekend, and I was just wondering what you're looking forward to the most, who you're looking forward to seeing, and what you're looking forward to reflecting on the most this weekend.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing everybody that I try to remember everybody I possibly can to invite and tell them about it. And, just over time, it's just, sometimes you lead people in the craft, not because you want to, it's just because you forget. So I try my hardest to try to invite everybody I think that can get here and that means something to me. So I'm excited to see the people that I forgot, not by my choice, but it happens. Like some of my ex teammates, guys that I haven't played with in 15 years, people that I haven't seen in so many years. It's just all of that. And one of the most exciting things that I'm looking forward to is all you guys, the fans, because day in and day out, we put it on the line, and you guys are always there to support us. So when we step into a building that we have 80,000 plus or whatever it may be, and they all Patriots fans, let me tell you, it's special to be a Patriot fan. I think Patriots, we have the best fans in sports there is. So I'm looking forward to seeing everyone in attendance, enjoying the special moment with all of you, not just me, because this jacket, yeah, it's mine, but it's ours. Because if it wasn't for you guys pushed me, and I never wanted to disappoint you guys on that field. And I know, thank you, and I know I'm speaking for all the players that came through here and that's still here today. We never want to disappoint you guys when we step on that field. So we take it to heart if we disappoint or we don't make plays or we lose. We hate losing. But I tell you what, you guys have something that I don't think any other organization would ever accomplish while we live. And that's 2 decades of running the NFL. That'll never happen again as long as we live.
Congrats.
Thank
It's wonderful to see you back in town. I think one of my favorite memories of you is one of my favorite days of the year was the draft day parties that you and Bianca used to host.
Yeah.
I think of you as, I think, one of the most accessible players that, and many of us have had the opportunity. But I know that that event was special to you, and I'm seeing the photos of your parents on your chest. Talk to us a little bit maybe about the work, the continued work that your foundation has done since you've left.
Well, yeah, you know, I lost my father from diabetes. Growing up with it, you know, seeing him and all the things I had to do with that. So I founded the Vince Wilfork Foundation, and one of the main things was geared towards diabetes. But not only that, Vince Wilfork Foundation, we support tons of charities. So it's not just that, but it was established because of my father losing it, and it runs in my family. And I have a lot of friends and family members that's diabetics and stuff like that there. This pin that I wear, this is my mother and father high school prom. You know, when they passed away, I got this as a gift, and I never leave home without it. You know, this is the closest that they can be to me that I feel. So if I could have played with it on, I would have. But I always was afraid that it'll pop and I'll lose it. So I never did it, but it travels with me. It goes where I go. Because I always need them near to me, because you guys have no idea what it's like to play a game that you always dreamed of playing and not have the love from your mother and your father there to experience it with you. Because a lot of people don't understand I played football because, not for me, I loved it, but I played it to get my mother and father a better life. You know, so when I lost them, a lot of people don't understand I quit football. I quit football when I lost them. And I'm glad, you know, I had a coach that talked some sense into me, because if he never would have talked any sense into me, this dream and this guy you see right now, he would have never existed. You would have never knew about it. So a lot of things go to my coach down at the University of Miami, Greg Mark. He was my defensive line coach that taught me into doing what my parents wanted me to do, and that's play football. So without him, there won't be no Vince.
So I have to agree with Anne Marie that you by far are one of the greatest Patriot players that we've all had a chance and opportunity to meet and talk to. With that being said, who have you been closest to when you were on the team?
I had one bad teammate, and I'm not going to mention it. And no, he's probably not anyone would pick it, but I never had any bad teammates, honestly. Like, I never had any issues with any teammates. I got along with all my teammates, even the one that I don't really too much care for. Like, I had to get along with him because he was in the same defensive line room as me. So I had to get along with him. I had to be a professional. But, you know, Ty Warren is a good buddy of mine. You know, good buddy of mine, and he's a Texas boy. I live in Houston, so we try to talk once a week. And plus, he was a defensive lineman, so you know we have a lot of similarities there. You know, Gerard Mayo is a good friend of mine. Devin McCourty is a good friend of mine. So those guys I consider family. All of them family, but like, you know, when Gerard kids was born, my kids and his kids, they grew up together. So, you know, we spent a lot of time as family together, you know. So you kind of do things a lot more with people similar like you, with a family and kids, than me hanging out with some single guys, because ain't nobody for go for that, you know. So, but I really never had a problem with none of my teammates. You know, if I wanted to go see Tom, I would have went to see Tom. You know, if I wanted, whoever it may be, if I wanted to hang out or get on the phone call or do this or do that, I had the luxury of doing that. And they knew they had the luxury to do that with me too. So teammates was never, ever a problem for me. I love all my teammates.
Hey, so Brady had a habit of stealing the spotlight in a lot of those Super Bowls. But there was one, the defense was on the field at the end. If you could just take us through those couple of plays at the end there, maybe, and what was going through your mind while you're on. Yeah.
You know, when you get to at that point of a game, of of that magnitude, you have to realize a couple things. One, you have to realize it won't be a lot of mistakes made because those two teams normally are the best teams in the league. So you get there for not making mistakes. So the chances of making mistakes is very slim, okay? Two, it's going to be a couple plays in the game where you're going to have to be able to steal. At some point, you're going to have to make a play, and hopefully it's for the good, better of your team. Three, it comes down to the wire. So when you have two of the best teams in the league playing in that game, you have to expect that game to come down to the wire. However you slice it, that's what you get in the Super Bowl when you have two evenly matched teams playing. So in that moment, it was like, we on the field, we knew we couldn't give up a touchdown. We didn't want to give up a touchdown, right? But we already knew if we get down to the goal line, what we were doing. We knew that, okay? A lot of times, our offense dictates what a defense does. For instance, if I'm offense and I say my best players are my receivers, and I put 4 receivers in and keep 1 running back in, well, defense is supposed to match that with dime defense, right? So offense is dictating what they want on the field and what they want to run. The funniest thing that we did there is when they got down to where they got down to, we know exactly what we was going to do. And we kind of tricked them because all they saw was big guys running on. But they didn't realize we still had coverage guys in the game. And that's the thing with Bill Belichick is we can play whatever defense we want. He would make a defense that you never seen and you really don't understand. But he's a mastermind when it comes to that. So we knew what we put on the field, if they ran the ball, right? If they ran the ball, somebody was going to be unblocked. We knew that. We dictated what went on as a defense, which you don't really hear that. Okay? We dictated that. So when they saw big guys, they know, okay, somebody's unblocked, that's a tackle for a loss, so we have to throw it. All reality is, we didn't have any extra linemen in the game. That's how we kind of drew it up to make him think that. And they knew right away they wasn't going to run the ball, you know? So, me personally, I would have ran it. I would have took my chances with one of the best backs in the game, with Beast Mode, right? But they threw it. I don't think it was a bad play. I think it was a great play made. Because at the end of the day, the odds is against us in making that play. Like, that's a great play that Malcolm made.
Yeah.
So I don't sit and I don't blame. The only reason I blame Seattle is because you got one of the best backs, second down, basically inside the 5. I think he was on the 3. You got one of the best backs in the game, and he just ran the ball for like 6-7 yards to get there. So that's where I blame Seattle because I would have rode that horse.
Yeah.
But I don't question it because if you threw that ball, 9 out of 10 times it's an incomplete, right? It's incomplete. You batted down well, it's incomplete. But it wasn't. It wasn't. Because it was a player that made a great play that he's seen in practice on the opposite side, and he got caught for a touchdown in practice. So in the game, he lined up a little deeper, but our other corner, Browner, made him step up. Browner is the one that killed that whole play. But when you predetermine where you want to go with the ball instead of read it out, that's where Russell Wilson failed at. Because if you see your number 1 getting jammed and he's not off the line of scrimmage, you can't throw that ball. He screwed the route up behind you. So it goes back to, in critical moments in a game like that, you have to be spot on because there's not a mistake you can make. Because if you make those mistakes, you better believe the other team is good enough to make them. They can make that play. If you make that mistake, it's going to cost you. But the two Super Bowls I lost against the Giants, we didn't make enough plays. We had opportunities.
Great. Why you gonna go there?
It just go to tell you. I'm just trying to have you understand how critical it is when mistakes are made, you have to capitalize on them. We had 3 mistakes in that Giants game that we didn't capitalize on. We had 1 mistake made. Our guy fell on the fumble. We would have had the ball in the red zone, and he said he thought he heard a whistle and gave the ball up. Giants ball. Yes. So it's the tiniest and the smallest things when it comes down to playing the Super Bowl and being able to win it. And you have to be able to play it all the way down to the wire, because when you have 2 good teams, that's what's going to tend to happen. A great football game.
We all see what came down to the end.
Yeah, seriously.
Congratulations, Vince.
Thank you.
First off, and I speak probably for everyone in the room in saying that you're probably our favorite Patriot player for your on the field and off the field.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
So as you mentioned, nose tackle doesn't usually get the love, and especially with recognition of the Hall of Fame, which I personally think you deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. You should get there one day. But who, as a nose tackle, did you look up to and try to model your game after, or who you also think that hasn't gotten the love that also deserves to be in the Hall of Fame?
Well, the thing there is, when I was learning how to play nose tackle, I looked at a couple guys for different reasons. So I looked at Ted Washington, because he's just massive. He's a big guy, and he controlled the middle. I mean, he is your typical nose tackle, right? Big guy, eats blockers, and he plugs the gap, you know. And then I looked at Casey Hampton in Pittsburgh, you know. They didn't 2-gap, you know. They shade him, he stayed front side, and he penetrated a lot, you know. So those were the 2 guys I actually looked at, and I said, you know, I want to be a hybrid. You know, I want to be a hybrid, you know. Casey played in the defense that they pressure a lot. You know, they send 5 or 6 guys a lot. New England, no, we on the 2-gap. We have 7 guys in the box, and we truly 2-gapping. So I looked at those 2 guys, and I say, I want to kind of be in the in-betweener here. And that's how I created my style of play. That's why I'm the only one nose tackle that can play in the different spots on the defensive line, because I made sure I had that versatility to do that. But those 2, hands down, I think I looked up to those 2 guys, because I think they was the best of the best in my era that I can learn and watch film from, you know, and create the game that I needed to create.
Congratulations, first
Thank
and
you.
foremost. We miss seeing you in Franklin. We miss seeing you around the streets of Franklin every once in a while.
Okay.
Curious,
Okay.
you always
I miss it. I miss it
walk
too.
around and Stop and Shop. We always knew it was you. You always garnered 2 or 3 people that you had to defend against. Who was the toughest? Like, who did you look on that roster and say, "Hot damn, I got to face him again"?
Well, Nick Mangold, he was, I think he was the best center I played against. And I played against some good centers, and you know, Kevin Mawai, he was smaller, but he's just so smart. I mean, he had every trick in the book. I hate playing against him, because I'm like, I don't got time for these antics, right? You know, so I was like, whatever. But Nick Mangold, I think he, hands down, is the best center I played against, because he had every tool you needed to be a great offensive lineman, especially a center. I mean, he's 6'4", 315 pounds. He's quick. He's smart. He didn't need a lot of help. They can leave him one-on-one with a nose or one technique. So it allowed their offense to do a lot more things with a guy like him. So I knew when I played him, I had to buckle my chin strap that night, because I knew what type of night it was going to be. You know, so other games I can walk around like a kicker with a chin strap on. So, but against Nick, I had to buckle my chin strap and put my mouthpiece in. So, any other game, you can see me just hanging out with these pearly whites without my mouth, but not when I played Nick. So, but you know, one of the best things about him, he's such a sweet guy. After every game, we always came together. We talk. Even now, we talk. You know, and He's just a great guy. Became, I mean, it's so many things. Like he went to Ohio State. I hate Ohio State. I hate the Hurricanes. You know, so he wears 74. I'm 75. You know, he played for the division opponent. I played for the best opponent. You know, so it's a lot that we talk about and we laugh about. But you know, our relationship built off of time playing against each other. And I can always walk away saying, I will always give him his credit. He was very good.
Hey Vince, you may not remember this, but you were here at the hall before doing this, and you answered a question that stuck with me for a special reason. If someone asked you what your favorite subject was, you said math.
Yeah.
I'm a math teacher, and so I always tell people, I'm like, Vince Wilfork, like he said, his favorite subject is math, and the kids are like, that's not true. So could you tell my students that what your favorite subject was in school?
My favorite subject in school is math.
Hi, also a math teacher, so that's awesome. You've played with some of the greatest players to play the game. You have worked under some of the coaches that have been the greatest in the game. Do you see yourself in any type of coaching role in the future?
No.
No.
If I can coach, I can play because the amount of time they put in the game, like it's I can play football. I can go back, I can unretire and actually play football, get paid pretty good, and leave and go home while they still at work. So for me, it don't make sense. There you go, right?
All right, congratulations, Vince.
Thank you.
I have a two-part question. What colleges recruited you when you were in high school, and why did you pick Miami?
I was recruited by every D1 there possibly is. And I picked University of Miami because I grew up a Hurricane fan, and I love orange and green. So I grew up watching Jerome Brown. I grew up watching Warren Sapp, Cortez Kennedy, Russell Maryland, Ray Lewis. I grew up watching all those guys, and I just love how they played the game. So that was a no-brainer for me, but every school in the country wrote me. Every.
Hi, Vince.
Hello.
Yeah, I think this is right. Okay. So a lot of players talk about when they retire, the transition from playing the game on Sunday, Monday, Thursday, to becoming a spectator through football. So what was that like for you, like transitioning from being on the field every week to now sitting at home, watching it, cheering it on like the rest of us, and then do you like still throw like blow parties like, hey, let's come home, celebrate Monday Night Football?
Well, my fiance, she get mad at me all the time because she's a fan of football, right? I'm a fan, but I see it from a different lens, right? So I'll see it and I'll call out plays. And I get excited when I'm right because I'm like, I still got it. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I knew it was like, but she wanna talk and she wanna be having conversations. But I'm like this here, like, leave me alone. But it's different for me because I'm such a competitor and I've done it my whole life for a long time. I only see it one way. And I always want to pay attention on what's going on in the game now, because if I ever got a, ESPN job or whatever, and I have to sit and talk about it, I'm up in the now. I'm not thinking about, I can't talk about when I played 20 years ago because it's not like that. So and plus, I'm a mentor to kids, right? To some of these players, I'm a mentor. So when they want to have a conversation, they want to talk to me, I have to be able to break stuff down and watch film and say, hey, this is what I see. You should be doing this, that, and other. So I enjoy watching it still, and I can have a good time still watching it. But like, sometimes I get real anal when I'm like, hold on, And sometimes I can be tough to be around watching games, but majority of the time I have fun. But it is different for me. It is.
Hi.
Hello. Neighbor. You went to the neighbor. Okay.
I don't know why you keep saying that nose tackles don't get recognition,
as we all keep saying, you're one of our favorite players. You're one of my favorite all-time players.
Oh,
the first jersey I ever got was yours.
Oh my God.
So this is a very specific question. I don't know if you remember, but back in 2007, when you caught the interception and ran for like 30 yards, what was going through your head during?
Don't drop the ball.
Were you like, holy crap, that I have a ball? Or was it, oh my God, I have to now run? Like, what are your thoughts about that?
Okay, I will give you my thoughts, okay? First, you have to understand this. Every big guy, we have every dance known to man that we say, we ever get the ball and I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. We all had it, right? So of course I had it. I've always had it when I entered the game. Like every game, if I get this, I'm gonna do this. If I get a second, I'm gonna do it. So when I got the ball, the first thing I thought, I'm like, damn, that's a long way. Like, I swear, it's like, that's long. Like, that's 60 yards, 50 yards? Like, no, that look like 120. Like, so in my mind, I'm like, man, I don't know how far I'm going to make it. I hope I have help. But I didn't think twice about what dance I was going to do. That was out the window. So when anybody tell you, oh, I got this dance plan, they lying. Yeah, they got it. Until it's just like a boxer. You know, you go in the ring like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Until you get punched in your mouth. Then you have to second guess, like, why am I in this ring? So I never wanted to touch the ball like that again. Let's just say that.
Hi, Vince.
Hello.
So, like, all of us were very devastated when you left New England to go to Houston. How much of a struggle was that to transition from leaving New England?
Well, I never seen myself leaving New England, honestly, and I think it got to a point where I knew my last days was coming up as a football player, and I always told myself, I want to play for another organization so I can see the difference in them, you know? And the best, and it was all about who got the best weather, the best food, because if I go somewhere else, I don't want to be in snow. You know, I don't want to do that, because if I want to go to snow, I'll stay here. That's just what it is. So that's what I was doing. That's how I thought. So Houston was the number one on my list because, you know, the Houston organization was always first class with me. Like, I mean, they were always, every time we played, we talked. Like, I had connection. My agent was from Houston, so it was like, okay, this was easy for me. And I knew I was going to play 2 more years. And plus, I was going down to a coach that I already knew in Billy O'Brien. The defensive coordinator was Romeo Camaro. My linebacker coach was Mike Vrabel I played with. So it was like I was going to Patriots South. So I was good, you know, but I had it all in the mindset of saying, you know, if I got 2 more years to play, where would I want to play at? So I went somewhere that I was very familiar with. The playbook was still the same. The people, you know, the coaches were still the same. They knew me. And I got a chance to see a whole nother operation from a different organization than the organization I've been in for my whole career for 11 years. So it wasn't about me being mad or anything like that. It was just, I knew my time was coming. But nobody knew that I was going to retire, you know. And nobody knew that but me after 2 years. So I was like, you know, I'm going to ride out. I'm going to ride out how I want to ride out. I'm going to leave the game how I want to leave the game. And when I did retire, I think Houston, Texas found out when they saw me retiring up here. So it ain't like I gave them a heads up saying I'm calling it quits. No, I called it quits when I came here and signed the 1-day deal to retire as a Patriot.
Congratulations, Vince.
Thank you.
I was wondering if you have any local favorite barbecue places around here that are in Massachusetts that you like.
You know, when I was here, I didn't have no barbecue places I can go to. So I don't know. I mean, I maybe have to go on DoorDash, Uber Eats to see what we have around here, but I don't know, you know, and that's why I'm like, you know, you guys, you know, Boston needs some Wilfork ribs.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't know. What about Houston? Oh, Houston, yeah. Houston got real places everywhere, like, and they're all good. So it's good food. Like, I never ate consistently good food. You name it. The burger is the best burger ever. You eat Wagyu burger, brisket burger. The ribs, you got beef and pork. Like, it's you want Mexican food. What you want? You know, you want Italian. Houston have everything. You know, and they're just, I'm a foodie. So I have to be somewhere that have good food. You know, Houston got good food. So
I have a question for you, 'cause I was reading, when you got off that plane today, where did you, Monday, I should say.
Wasn't today.
What was the restaurant that you had to go to?
I had to go to Dom's Sausage.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Steak and cheese. Steak like I had to. It was a must. It was a must because, you know, the last time I ate there was probably over 10 years ago. And I ate there for the first time Tuesday, and I tell you, it tasted exactly the same. So that means they are very consistent. The quality of their food is amazing. And I will be shipping food back home when I leave.
Wow. That's great.
Hi, Vince.
Hello.
Speaking of your big run a few questions back, is it true that Tom refused to race you?
Yeah, Tom didn't want this smoke.
I would have paid money to see that.
Nah, he didn't want this smoke. Yeah. Yeah, he didn't want it.
Hi, I just wanted to tell you how much of a fan I am.
Thank you.
And my twin sons looked up to you, and when they played football, they both wanted your number.
Oh, thank you, thank
And
you.
they took turns wearing it, actually.
Oh, my gosh.
But I also wanted to suggest that you go to Good Stuff Smokehouse.
Okay, Good Stuff Smokehouse?
It's in Blackstone, Massachusetts.
Okay. How far is that?
Can I go now?
Can you run?
30 minutes from here.
Okay, that's not bad.
No,
Okay.
it's not bad.
So Blackstone.
Blackstone. Good Stuff
Pass rank?
Smokehouse.
Okay.
I second that. I've been there.
Okay. Well, let me be the judge. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna critique it. I'm gonna let it.
You can tweet it out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get it.
And if it's not good enough, open up a place.
Did you ever get any hate, and if so, how did you deal with it?
You say hate? While playing? I got more hate when I was in college playing than in the NFL. But one thing I've always, you know, understood that it's gonna be some people that don't like me. It's okay. You know, it's some stadiums I go to. I never had a problem, but teammates had problems because I'm just a likable person because I don't, like whatever, I have a job to do, that's what I do and that's what it is. But I've encountered some stuff in college that was very, very bad, and I just try to stay positive about things and try to stay away from that type of environment or things, but sometimes you can't help it, so sometimes it's hard to turn the other cheek, you know, it's hard, but sometimes that's the best thing to do because you don't want to get in a situation that costs you your future, you know, so you got to always think about where you want to go in life, you know, because you're going to run and you're going to encounter people that's going to do and say some things to you that you would want to pop them upside the head, but what do that mean, you know, and so you got to always think smart and wise, but if you can, don't put yourself in a situation where things can get like that or out of control. You always want to control the narrative, control where you be, control the people that you surround yourself with. You want to always stay on the right track and away from a lot of stuff that it ain't gonna do nothing but get you in trouble down the long run. So just stay positive, okay?
Hi, Vince. Tell them with kindness.
I know
Beautiful
what that
advice.
is.
You know what that is?
I know what that is.
First of all, I'm gonna choke up. Thank you for recognizing 24 years. And being at your beck and call, the wife of. And for Jim, I've seen his piles of laundry that they folded over the years, so thank you for recognizing them.
Oh, absolutely.
And yes, these are for you, you know what they are.
I know exactly what they are.
But I do have a question. What was your most memorable win and why?
Ravens, what year? 2012, there we go.
Playoff.
Yes, and the reason why is I probably went to bed that night probably around 2 or 3 o'clock because I was reading the book, The Assassin, Jack Tatum, and it was just talking about how tough he was, and when he stepped on the field, how did his mindset. And it took me so long to fall asleep because I was so amped up and ready to play. But I had hours, we played the next Friday night, so I was like, man, I'm so amped up, but I had to figure out how to calm myself down, so I finally did. And I just remember going in that game, and I told my teammates at the time, I said, listen, I'm gonna carry you on my back. And I said, I talked to the secondary, I say, you guys don't worry about the run game, we got that. Y'all do what y'all gotta do, we got this. I say, we gonna win the game, it's not even about the offense. We gonna win the game, and the most beautiful thing is my defense, they believed it. They never questioned me. They got the assignment, we executed, we walked away. And that was probably one of my best games in my career. At one of the crucial moments. One of the game a crucial game. We talking about AFC Championship, we got to go, and for me to perform the way I performed as a nose tackle speaks volume.
We were sitting with the Baltimore fans.
They did not like it. People hate winners, so remember that.
Yeah.
Except for the fans that's winning, so we know how we act. We know how we roll.
You and I used to commute to Foxborough pretty much the same time every day. And I'm just curious, do you still have the Mr. 75 license plate?
No, that got retired before I was retired. No, I don't.
So I think there was an interview a while ago with Devin McCourty talking about you and your attitude on the bus driving into Buffalo, talking about being kind in front of the haters. Can you talk a bit about why you would always smile on the bus driving in when everyone else in Buffalo is clearly not happy that New England's there?
I always try to keep a smile on my face. And one thing I love true fans. Buffalo has some good fans too. I mean, they have a fan base what they do there, you can't knock. They roll for their team just like New England Rockville has. And I just used to, sometimes it'd be so funny because they would think they was gonna beat us. Really? You really thought you guys had a chance? Really? Okay. So I used to laugh all the time, they really thought they had a chance today. So I always felt good leaving. So it's up for them.
Yeah, they do.
So I just wanted to say congratulations, just like everyone else. And my question is, out of all the players in the NFL right now, who is your favorite to watch, especially on the Patriots first?
On the Patriots first, my favorite to watch, I always like to watch the defensive linemen. I like to watch not only the defense, but offensive linemen. So I don't have a favorite. I like all of us. Because in football, it's about team effort. It ain't about one individual, you see. So that's what I love Now, my favorite player to watch outside of the Patriots is Donald.
It's just like Donald.
I mean,
Aaron Donald.
what he do as a defensive tackle is unheard of. I mean, and he's a special player, you know. So I like to watch his game just because he's inside close quarters and stuff, and it's things have to happen faster. And a lot of people don't understand, like, defensive tackle, nose tackle, defensive end, those are three different, you know, positions. I played all of them. My favorite one to play was defensive end because it was easy. Like, you know, if a tight end over there, I might get a power or double. I might, you know, depending on who I'm playing. But as a three technique, it's like everything happens fast. But it's still, I can see and feel my way. But nose tackle, you don't have time. It's a millisecond. Like, you have to make a decision, like a blink of an eye. And if you step wrong, you're screwed. You can screw your whole defense up. So anybody can be a nose tackle. And being inside, it's tough being inside because everything happens so fast and so quick. Quarterback, you're closer to the quarterback, but he sees you. You're always fighting two. I mean, it's just, so if you can beat somebody the way Donald do, I mean, just think about how fast and how quick it has to happen. You see what I'm saying? And how many people he had to fight to get through. It's amazing. Now, if you have a nose tackle doing that, man, put him in the Hall of Fame while he played. I'm telling you that. I mean, because it's hard. You know, it's hard. So, but I'm a football fan, and I just like to see good plays, good players, and good teams compete. You know, I just like to see it.
What was going through your head during the butt fumble?
So once again, like I say, as a nose tackle, if you step wrong, you can get in some trouble, right? So that play, I actually stepped wrong. Well, I didn't step wrong. They fooled me on the block. You know, it was like a down, and I didn't see it coming. They schemed it up for me, but it was okay. But I knew my job was to squeeze as much as I could when I always get in jam, you know. And too bad for Sanchez. Now, then I had to play with some strength, so I had to show my strength, and because I knew how important it was for my linebacker to know I can squeeze this gap, because I put him in trouble, because the guy was on my shoulder. He was on my shoulder. The center had left. I was here, so I couldn't get my hands back, but I know what my linebacker had to do, and I didn't want to keep him in that trouble, so I squeezed down, and I don't know, he must have didn't take his Wheaties that day or didn't realize how strong I was. So he found out that day, and he found it out for the rest of his career. So he's on the pitch. I just signed some of those pictures today, so we'll see.
Do we have time for 2 more questions? Anybody?
Thanks for taking the time for all of us. Aside from football, one time you were in an interview, you talking about one thing you really like to do is just go fishing with your dad.
Yeah.
As dad of this young man, can you tell us about a good story about fishing with your dad?
You know, my whole life growing up, you know, before my father got very ill, that's what we did. You know, my father was a tough son of a gun, mentally and physically. Even though he was sick, he would always want to go on the fish creek with us, you know, and I never wanted to leave him behind. So it's just moments and things that I've learned in just conversations and just learning about life. A man has to understand how to eat. He has to understand what it takes to take care of family, and all the time you're not going to have funds, or you might not be able to get exactly what you wanted to do. So my father used to teach me that if anything was to fail in life and in the world, you know, no phone, no lights, no nothing, you need to know how to survive. You know, you need to know how to survive. So I would fish, I would hunt, I would do everything outside, because at the end of the day, I couldn't afford to go to the grocery store all the time and get me or this or grocery that. So a lot of stuff what we ate was what we caught. So we don't catch nothing, we don't eat. So that's a survivor mentality that he taught me. How to grind it out, how to make sure if anything and everything was to fail, you and your family still can eat. Because I'm gonna teach you these traits that you should know. And I love him today for that. Because without that, the guy you see, it don't matter. If he didn't give me that, it wouldn't matter. But by him doing that for me, made me become the man I am. So, cherish those moments.
Hi Vince, just wanted to thank you for being here. You're our favorite player, and I just wanted to ask, what do you miss the most about playing here every weekend?
The fans.